Welcome back. You're still watching Politics Tonight, digging beyond the headlines. And now to our interview with the guest of the day. I am joined by the National Chairman of the All Progressive Grand Alliance, APGA, Ezeonkenwa, for a discussion on progressive opposition politics in Nigeria. Barrister Ezeonkenwa is also the former National Legal Advisor of APGA. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. You emerged as the national chairman of APGA at the National Convention in Awka, Anambra State in May. How has the task of building the party been for you?
Well, I should say it is an assignment that I undertook wholeheartedly. For me, it is a very passionate one. Passionate in the sense that the only political party I've been a member for about 20 or 20-something years now is APGA. You know, I always say, I use kind of an aphorism that I was born in APGA, was raised in APGA, and I am now a leader in the party by virtue of my election as the national chairman of the party. So for me, it's quite an emotional one. You know, APGA represents a progressive movement for all Nigerians, and that's why you have the name All Progressives Grand Alliance. So it's the foremost progressive movement in Nigeria. And for me, there couldn't have been a better time to emerge as a national chairman of APGA than now, when the nation is grappling with a whole lot of challenges. So what is the whole essence of coming on board as a national chairman of APGA? It is to offer Nigerians an alternative. We're here to say, yes, you've tried so-and-so political party, you've tried so-and-so political party. Now it's time for all progressive Nigerians to unite under the platform of APGA. And how do we intend to achieve that? We intend to achieve that by selling our manifesto, by selling our agenda to Nigerians. And we're saying, look, this is what we are offering Nigerians so and so. And we believe that Nigerians are willing and ready to key into the progressive agenda of APGA going forward.
All right. Barrister Sly, you took over APGA after 8 years of Victor Oye chairmanship. What sort of a party did you inherit?
I don't think I got your question very clearly.
Oh, all right. You took over APGA after 8 years of Victor Oye chairmanship. I'm asking, what sort of a party did you inherit?
What part of the party?
What sort of a party did you inherit?
Well, I'm trying to understand if you say what crux or what part of the party did I inherit.
What kind of a party did you meet on ground? I mean, after Victor Oye left the party.
No, sorry. I now understand you clearly. Well, for me, I think I inherited a formidable party. Formidable in the sense that I will have to give benefit to the credit to the past administration, of which, like you said, I was part of. For 4 years, I served as a national legal advisor. And within that period, the party was able to establish itself as a formidable opposition political party in Nigeria. And how did the party achieve that? First of all, prior to now, APGA was seen more or less as a political party with its major concentration in the southeast and then Anambra State. And within that 4 years, APGA was able to make inroads in other geopolitical zones in the country. Within that period, APGA was able, and it became the first political party to have its own edifice as a national secretariat of the party. And just on the eve of my election as the national chairman of APGA, that was on the 30th of May 2023, APGA became the first political party to own a regional secretariat, an imposing 5-story building in Anambra State, as a Southeast Regional Secretariat. So, for me, it was a formidable party. The only challenge I could say is that the party within that period grappled with legal issues with regards to who is the authentic national chairman and all whatnot, going back and forth. If you did listen to the valedictory speech of Chief Victor Oye, he did mention that he inherited or he grappled with over 200 cases, you know, within his time as the national chairman of the party. Such is the level of brigandage that some persons who are aliens to the party tried as much as possible to come and take over the structure of the party. And we were able to fight off that effectively, especially in my capacity as a national legal advisor. And we were able to get the highest court of the land to affirm the leadership of the party. Because as far as I'm concerned, there can be only one way through which you can emerge the executive of the party, and that is by a national convention of a political party duly monitored by INEC. So what I'm saying in essence is that, yes, I believe that there are more grounds for us to cover within APGA. But I must give kudos to the past administration. At least they were able to stabilize the party. They were able to deliver. If you know, virtually APGA, we consider Anambra State as the birthplace of APGA. And then Victor Oye was able to achieve a transition from an APGA government to another APGA government. So that is quite an impressive one. He's been able to at least, the party tried to win some seats here and there. We got some House of Reps member in Niger State. We got some in Plateau State. Taraba State. We got some in Benue State in 2019. So for me, I believe there is a whole lot of ground for improvement going forward.
All right. So the court recently ruled against your chairmanship. What's the situation now?
Well, I can tell you authoritatively that there is no decision against my chairmanship. I think you may be making an erroneous reference to the judgment delivered by Honorable Justice M.A. Madugu of the FCT High Court. Incidentally, I was not a party in the matter. APGA was not a party. So it was just some persons, some two guys approached the court to seek an interpretation or purported interpretation of the Supreme Court judgment. But the point has to be made that prior to now, these persons have approached two federal high courts. One presided over by His Lordship Honorable Justice James Kolawole Omotosho of the Federal High Court Abuja, and one presided over by Honorable Justice H.A. Ngajiwa. And these courts made pronouncements to the effect that by the correct interpretation of the Supreme Court judgment as corrected on the 24th of March 2023, that Chief Victor Oye then remained the national chairman of APGA. And how do you set aside this decision? You don't set aside such decision by going to another court. The Supreme Court called it forum shopping. So you don't forum shop. There's been a pronouncement by a court of competent jurisdiction on the issue of the correct interpretation of the Supreme Court judgment. And incidentally, I think on Friday, just last Friday, the Court of Appeal Abuja Division affirmed the decision of Honorable Justice Kolawole Omotosho to the effect that Victor Oye was the national chairman of APGA at the material time when the national convention that brought me into office was conducted. And this national convention was conducted on the 31st of May 2023. And I've assumed office. Incidentally, the judgment of the court was delivered, I think it was on the 6th day of June. And by pronounce, he said on the 6th day of June that Victor Oye was not the national chairman of APGA. Of course, he was no longer the national chairman. So essentially, it's nothing. And just like the Supreme Court has said in a plethora of authorities that you cannot shave a man's head in his absence, you can't be talking about APGA when the party, the political party who you are trying to pronounce on its leadership is not joined as a party in the matter. So for me, it was an exercise in futility. We are not concerned. APGA was not a party. I was not a party. APGA had its national convention on the 31st of May, duly monitored by a team of officials and staff of the Independent National Electoral Commission led by a national commissioner, Barrister Festus Okoye. And they were on ground and they produced their report. So you don't go to court to forum shop. That's just the simple position as it is today.
All right. So let me say that the May 31st APGA National Convention that produced you as the party national chairman is seen as a rebirth of APGA. What's your take on this?
Well, my take is very simple. For the first time in Nigeria, APGA, as a political party, has decided to give in to the yearnings of Nigerians. If you recall, I always make allusion to the NSAS movement in 2020. And it heralded a different kind of political consciousness in Nigeria. Over the years, the issues have always been the political participation or active political participation of young persons in the affairs of the politics of the country. Most times people say that the young people play aloof. But from 2020, there was this active consciousness for young persons to get actively involved in the decision-making process of the country. And how do they do that? By getting involved in politics. Because over the years, people have seen politics as a dirty game, and most young persons tend to shy away from everything concerning politics. But in 2020, they came together, and that crystallized into the movement we saw during the last election. There was this increased consciousness. There was this increased quest by persons probably between the age of 18 and 40 years for who should be the president of the country, who should be the governor of the state, who should we elect into various legislative positions. And APGA, as a conscious political party, as a political party that is interested in the future of Nigerians, has decided to key into that movement. And how have they done that? They've done that by electing a set of young officials. Of course, you must have heard in the news that I am the youngest national chairman of a political party in Nigeria. That is APGA's own style of rebate. So what does the party want to do? The party wants to rebrand. And the party wants to build its structure around the young persons in Nigeria. We are saying this is the time for young persons to come into active leadership, to key into various elective positions in Nigeria and occupy sensitive positions. So that's what APGA is doing. And as far as I'm concerned, I'm going to, in conjunction with my team, of course, we are going to build a formidable team for all young Nigerians to be proud of. And I use this opportunity to call on every progressive-minded Nigerian. Incidentally, be you young, because even though we are trying to have this movement propelled by young Nigerians, yet we are not discriminating. Be you old, are you a woman, are you a young person, provided you are above the age of 18 years, we invite you to register as a member of APGA and have your stake in the decision-making process of this country. So that is the rebranding project, because I call it a rebranding project for APGA. They want to build the party around the young persons of Nigeria. And these young persons are the future of the country. And I say it with every sense of responsibility. We want young persons to key into the quest for progressive leadership in Nigeria. I was among those that were born maybe in the 1980s. And from that time till now, I think we've not really had it so well in terms of leadership. And how do we do that? We cannot continue to leave our affairs in the hands of these people who have been, over the years, contributed to the problem of Nigeria where we are today. And how do we intend to solve this problem? By inviting young persons to key into the rebranding project of APGA and be part of the decision-making process.